Hello. Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself walking through your own home, your eyes glued to the floor, worried about catching your foot on the edge of a rug, or a small step you've crossed 1,000 times before? We all do it, thinking we're just being careful. But that seemingly harmless act, just looking down to be safe, is actually one of the most dangerous habits that can lead to a devastating fall. And here's the nightmare no one talks about. Every single year, more than 3 million older Americans end up in the emergency room because of a fall. For so many, a fall isn't just about a broken bone. No. It's the start of losing that precious independence we all value so much. But here is what my 30 years as a family physician have taught me. The vast majority of these falls can absolutely be prevented. And the solution isn't found in a prescription bottle or some expensive piece of equipment. It's found in the way that we walk. I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about reality. I'll never forget my patient, Frank, a 78-year-old retired carpenter who was so proud of how sturdy he was. He simply missed the last step down into his garage as the sun was setting. Just one misstep. That one fall led to hip surgery, and months where he couldn't get around on his own. Frank's story is a powerful reminder that confidence alone is not enough. In this video today, I'm going to share with you 7 simple walking habits. Habits I've taught to hundreds of my patients. I'm here to arm you with the knowledge to stay safe. And please, be sure you stay with me until the very end. Because the 7th habit is the one that most people overlook. But in my experience, it's the single most important key to truly holding onto your independence for years to come. The information I'm about to share in that final section might just save a life. Before we go any further, I truly want to know how many of us have felt this. If that feeling I described at the beginning sounds familiar, that worry about your own steps, please take a moment to comment with a simple yes below. It helps me know you understand, and it shows everyone else in our community that they are not alone. Okay, let's begin. Alright, let's get right into our very first habit. Habit number 1. Awareness of your head position. Of all the things I see in my patients, the most common, and perhaps the most dangerous habit, is walking with the head down. We all do it, thinking we're being extra careful, watching for every crack in the sidewalk or every wrinkle in the rug. It feels like the safe thing to do. But in my experience, it's a silent trap. Here's why. I want you to imagine your head is like a 10-pound bowling ball, because that's roughly what it weighs. When you let that bowling ball hang forward, looking down at the floor, it doesn't just stay there. It pulls your shoulders, your upper back, and your hips forward along with it. This subtle shift pulls your entire center of gravity dangerously ahead of your feet. And in that position, all it takes is one small misstep, one little stumble, and your body has a much harder time recovering its balance. You're already leaning into a fall. Now, I understand exactly why this happens. It's a fundamental change that occurs as we get a little older. Maybe our vision isn't quite as sharp as it once was, or our sense of touch in our feet has faded slightly. Our reaction time might slow by just a fraction of a second. So, our brain tells us, look down. See where your feet are going. It's safer. But this instinct, this attempt to protect ourselves, it actually works against our body's natural design for balance. Have you ever felt that little moment of dizziness? Or a sense of being wobbly when you suddenly stop and straighten up after walking a short distance? That feeling is often a direct result of this forward-leaning posture. Physical therapists, the real experts in movement and balance, they see this every single day. They even have a name for it, forward stoop posture, and they recognize it as one of the leading contributors to falls in seniors. I remember a wonderful patient of mine, Eleanor, an 84-year-old woman who loved her garden more than anything. She became so fearful of tripping on a garden hose or an uneven stone that she began walking everywhere, inside and out, staring at her feet. The irony was heartbreaking. The very thing she was doing to feel safe was making her less stable, and it was keeping her from enjoying the beautiful flowers she was looking down at to avoid. So, here is the solution. It's a simple rule I teach everyone. It's called the 20-80 rule. 80% of the time, your gaze should be up, looking about 10 to 15 feet ahead of you. See what's coming. Allow your peripheral vision to do its job of monitoring the ground right in front of you. And only 20% of the time, you should glance down. With your eyes, not your whole head. Just a quick check-in. So please, start today. When you walk from the living room to the kitchen, make a conscious choice. Lift your chin. Look ahead. You are not just changing a habit, you are taking back control of your safety. Habit number 2. The rhythm of your arm swing. Alright, let's move on to our second habit. This is one that most of us stopped thinking about since we were toddlers. The way we use our arms when we walk. Now, I often see patients walking with their arms held stiffly at their sides, or maybe tucked securely into their pockets. It seems like a small thing, a personal quirk, perhaps. But in reality, when you do that, you are willingly giving up one of your body's most elegant, built-in balancing tools. Here's the simple science behind it. Your arms are the natural counterweights to your legs. As your right leg steps forward, your left arm should instinctively swing forward to balance that motion, and the same happens on the other side. This constant cross-body rhythm keeps your torso stable and your momentum directed forward, preventing you from swaying side to side. Think of a tightrope walker. They use a long pole for balance, right? Your arms are your personal balancing poles, and they work for free. So why do we lose this rhythm? As we age, a few things can happen. A bit of arthritis or stiffness in the shoulders can make the movement uncomfortable. But more often than not, the culprit is fear. When we're worried about falling, our entire body tenses up. We brace for impact, even when there is none. This tension locks our arms in place, removing that critical counterbalance from the equation. It's another one of those moments where our instinct to protect ourselves actually makes us less stable. The very stiffness we adopt to prevent a fall makes a fall more likely. Think back to when you were a child, running across a lawn. Your arms were probably pumping freely, without a single thought. That's the natural, stabilizing motion your body remembers. I had a patient, a gentleman named Arthur, who always walked with one hand in his pocket. He had a slight limp and felt unsteady. We didn't focus on his leg, we focused on freeing that hand. I simply asked him to let his arm swing, even just a little. Within a few weeks, he told me his walk felt smoother, more powerful, and safer. He was amazed. So here is the simple solution. Just let your elbows bend softly. As you walk, allow your arms to move. It doesn't need to be a huge, powerful swing like a race walker. Just a gentle, relaxed rhythm is enough. If you've never consciously thought about the role your arms play in balance, I want you to do me a favor and comment with the word "wow" below. It's one of those amazing things our bodies do without us even realizing it, isn't it? Habit number 3. Heel-to-toe walking. Let's shift our focus down to the ground now, to our feet, for our third habit. Over the years, many of us quietly develop a new way of walking. We start to shuffle. Instead of a smooth rolling motion, our feet begin to land flat, or we drag our toes across the floor. This becomes so normal that we don't even notice it's happening. But this subtle change is a silent invitation for a trip or a stumble. Your foot is engineered for a beautiful, efficient, rolling motion. In a proper stride, your heel makes the first contact with the ground. Then, your weight rolls smoothly across the arch of your foot. And finally, your toes give a little push, propelling you into the next step. Heel, roll, toe. This sequence acts as your body's natural shock absorber, protecting your knees and hips, but it also ensures your foot clears the ground properly on every single step. When you start to shuffle or walk flat-footed, you lose that clearance. Your toes stay closer to the ground, making them far more likely to catch on the edge of a rug, a threshold in a doorway, or an uneven patch of pavement. Why does this happen as we age? Sometimes, the muscles in our shins and feet, the ones responsible for lifting our toes, can weaken a little bit. Other times, it's a subconscious effort to feel more grounded. We think that keeping our feet flat on the floor will make us more stable, but it creates a constant low-grade trip hazard with every step you take. Have you ever noticed the front of your slippers catching on the carpet? Or felt like you had to consciously lift your feet higher just to step over a welcome mat? That is the shuffle at work. I often tell my patients to think of their feet like the tires on a car. A properly inflated tire rolls smoothly. A flat tire makes the ride bumpy, inefficient, and difficult. Shuffling is like walking on flat tires. You lose your smooth forward momentum and make the journey much harder than it needs to be. The good news is, your body remembers how to do this correctly. You just need to remind yourself. So here is your task. Spend just a few minutes each day, maybe while you're waiting for the kettle to boil, walking slowly down a hallway. Practice it barefoot on a soft carpet if you can. And just focus on that feeling. The distinct sensation of your heel touching down first, then the middle of your foot, and then the final push from your toes. Don't force it. Just be mindful. You are reawakening a deep memory in your muscles. You are rebuilding your foundation, one smooth, safe step at a time. Habit number 4. Small steps, big safety. Now, for our 4th habit, and this one might go against everything you've thought about what makes a healthy walk. We often associate long, confident strides with strength and vitality. But as we get older, those big steps can quietly become a balancing act you don't want to be a part of. Taking smaller steps is the key to greater safety. Let me explain the physics of it in a very simple way. When you take a very large step, your front foot lands far ahead of your body. For a split second, your center of gravity, the very core of your balance, is left behind you. This creates a moment of instability where your body has to play catch-up. It puts more stress on your hip and knee joints, and it reduces your ability to react quickly if you suddenly slip or encounter an uneven surface. Your body is stretched out, and in that position, it's weaker and less responsive. Shorter steps, on the other hand, do the opposite. They ensure that your feet stay more directly underneath your body. This keeps your center of gravity securely over your base of support, which is where you are strongest and most stable. Think of a camera tripod. It's most stable when its legs form a solid base, not when they are spread out too far. Your 2 feet are your body's tripod. By taking shorter strides, you are constantly maintaining a stronger, more secure base. This habit of taking long strides is often carried over from our younger years, when we had more muscle mass and quicker reflexes to manage those moments of instability. We simply don't realize that our body's balance system has changed, and it now requires a new, smarter strategy. Have you ever taken a big step up onto a curb and felt a little strain in your lower back, or felt for a split second like you had to catch yourself? That is your body warning you that your stride was too long for your current balance system. Here is a simple way to practice this. Try this little experiment. Walk across a large room at your normal pace and count how many steps it takes. Now walk back, but this time take slightly smaller, quicker steps. You should find that you take more steps. That's a good sign. It means you are keeping your feet underneath you. Remember, the goal here is not to walk slower. You can maintain a brisk pace. The goal is control. The goal is stability. Let's start making the conscious choice to trade long, risky strides for shorter, smarter, and much safer steps. Habit number 5. Core strength, core confidence. Alright, let's move on to our 5th habit. When my patients come to me feeling unsteady, feeling a bit wobbly on their feet, their first instinct is always to think about their legs. They'll tell me, "Doc, my legs just feel weak." And while leg strength is certainly important, 9 times out of 10, the real culprit, the hidden source of their instability, isn't in their legs at all. It's right here. Nuoi kachianare huvi fia vung bung va lung dui kwamin. It's their core. I want you to think of your body like a house. Your legs and feet are the walls, but the muscles in your abdomen, your lower back, and your hips, that is the foundation. If that foundation is weak, it doesn't matter how strong the walls are. The entire structure will feel shaky. Your core is the anchor for every single movement you make, especially walking. It's what keeps your torso upright and stable, allowing your legs to move freely and confidently beneath you. Now, why does this become so critical as we get older? It's a simple, gradual process. Over the years, if we aren't consciously working to maintain it, our core strength naturally begins to fade. We become more sedentary, we sit more, and those deep stabilizing muscles just don't get the workout they used to. This is the core why. Your body's ability to automatically stabilize itself lessens, requiring more conscious effort. Do you ever find yourself reaching for a countertop for a bit of support when you stand still? Or feeling like you need to lean on the shopping cart at the grocery store. That isn't just your legs getting tired. That is your core quietly telling you that it's struggling to do its job. The most wonderful thing about this is that you don't need to do a single sit-up or go to a gym to fix it. I had a patient, a lovely 82-year-old grandmother named Carol. She had a couple of close calls with falls in her home and had become very timid, very afraid to move. Instead of complex exercises, I gave her 2 tiny assignments. The first, while she was standing at the kitchen sink washing dishes, I asked her to simply stand on one leg for 5 seconds, then switch to the other, holding onto the counter for support. The second, whenever a commercial came on the TV, I asked her to gently pull her belly button in towards her spine, just enough to feel her stomach muscles tighten, and hold it for 10 seconds. That's it. That's all she did. Within a month, she came back to my office, and she told me something beautiful. She said, "I feel like I'm finally holding myself up again." She felt solid, grounded. So, I invite you to do the same. To remember the importance of this, please comment with the word strength below. Start building that invisible support system today. Stand on one leg for a few seconds. Gently tighten your core. These small, consistent efforts build a powerful foundation of confidence from the inside out. Habit number 6. Floor awareness and transitions. Our 6th habit is about becoming a detective in your own home. You see, some of the sneakiest falls aren't caused by big, obvious obstacles. They're caused by the subtle, almost invisible changes in the floor right beneath your feet. The transition from a soft carpet to a smooth tile floor, a single shadowy step you didn't see, or a doorway threshold you've stepped over 10,000 times before. These are the danger zones. Here is the science behind why this happens. As we age, 2 things change slightly. Our depth perception can become less accurate, and our brain's processing time can slow by just a millisecond. That tiny delay is everything. It means that by the time your brain fully registers, warning, slippery tile ahead, your foot is already in motion. In that split-second gap between your eyes seeing the change and your body adjusting to it, your balance can falter. It's a critical communication breakdown. Have you ever stepped from a bright, sunny sidewalk into a dim garage and felt disoriented for a moment? That is the same delay at play. Your eyes and brain need that extra moment to catch up. I'll never forget the story my patient, Robert, a very careful 78-year-old man, told me. He almost had a serious fall in his own kitchen. His wife had just polished the wood floors. They looked beautiful, but they were slick. He said to me, "It caught me completely by surprise. My feet were already sliding before my brain even had a chance to scream, 'Whoa!'" After that scare, Robert started a new habit. It sounds a little silly, but it worked. Every time he walked from one room to another, he would quietly say the name of the new surface under his breath. Carpet. Wood. Tile. He swore that this tiny vocal reminder gave his body just enough of a heads-up to prepare and adjust its footing. He hasn't had a close call since. So, here is your practical solution. Become mindful of transitions. When you move from one room to another, simply pause. Just for 1 second. That single second is a gift you give to your brain, allowing your eyes and your balance system to adjust before you proceed. Be extra cautious on shiny floors, as the glare can play tricks on your depth perception. And if you wear bifocals, be especially mindful when approaching stairs or curbs, as the shift in the lens can distort the ground right in front of you. This isn't about being paranoid. It's about being prepared. It's about outsmarting the sneaky risks that hide in plain sight. Habit number 7. Using support wisely, not constantly. And now for our 7th and final habit. This is the one I promised you, and in many ways, it's the most important because it's about mindset. So many people I speak with view a cane or a walker as a white flag, a symbol of surrender to old age. They see it as a sign of weakness. From my perspective, after all these years, I see the exact opposite. I see a tool of empowerment. I see a symbol of intelligence and a declaration of independence. Let me explain the core reason why this is so critical. The fear of being judged, the fear of looking old, causes many people to refuse support that they genuinely need. And what is the result? They don't magically become more stable. Instead, they choose to do less. They stop going for walks in the park. They turn down invitations from friends. They stay home, where they feel safer. This leads to a downward spiral of inactivity, which in turn leads to weaker muscles and even worse balance. The very thing they are trying to avoid, losing their independence, is brought on faster by their refusal to accept a simple tool. It's a heartbreaking paradox. A cane is not a crutch that you become dependent on. Think of it as a reliable partner. A third point of contact with the ground that gives your brain a constant stream of information about the surface you're walking on, dramatically increasing your stability. A walker provides a secure frame around you, giving you the confidence to walk with a better posture and a more natural gait. These tools don't take away your strength. They give you the freedom to continue using and building the strength you have. I tell my patients to think of it like this: a wise carpenter doesn't think less of himself for using a hammer. It's the right tool for the job. A cane or a walker is simply the right tool for the job of navigating the world safely and confidently. So, my final piece of advice is to let go of the pride that holds you back and embrace the tools that move you forward. Using support wisely isn't about admitting defeat. It's about making a smart, strategic choice to stay in the game, to stay active, and to stay in control of your own life for as long as possible. So, we've walked through 7 powerful habits together today. Each one may seem small on its own, almost too simple to matter. But together, they represent a profound shift in how we move through the world. Let's go back to that feeling we talked about at the very beginning. That quiet anxiety of walking through your own home, worried about every little obstacle. By consciously practicing these habits, you are not just walking differently. You are actively turning that fear back into confidence. Remember my patient, Frank, the 78-year-old carpenter who had that devastating fall in his garage? During his recovery, we worked on these exact habits. He learned to lift his head, to swing his arms, to take smaller, smarter steps. Today, at 80 years old, Frank is back in his workshop, moving with a purpose and a newfound respect for his own stability. His story is a beautiful testament that it's never too late to reclaim your balance. The core message I want you to take away today is this: you are in control of your safety. Aging may bring challenges, that is true. But it does not take away your power to adapt, to learn, and to become stronger in new ways. Your best steps are not behind you. As we wrap up, we've explored 7 critical habits that can truly transform our golden years. But knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important question for you. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video? It could be as simple as, I will lift my head when I walk to the mailbox. Or, I will practice standing on one leg at the kitchen sink. Please share your personal commitment in the comments below. Reading your commitment will inspire others in our community to take that first, crucial step. And if you found real value and encouragement in our time together today, please show your support by giving this video a like. To ensure you continue on this journey with us, and never miss another video full of life-changing wisdom, hit that subscribe button. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a community dedicated to living our best lives, together. Finally, think of one person, a friend, a family member, a neighbor, who needs to hear this message today, and please, share it with them. You might just be giving them the most valuable gift of all. Thank you for spending this time with me. Stay safe, and walk tall.